You are now tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast, brought to you by BringingDownTheBand.com. No Bad Ideas, Coleman Dental, and Printfinity. I am Major 7th. I make beats, and I have the t-shirts to prove it, like the one I have on today. And to my left, as always, is the one and only Longevity.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
That's two right there. Okay.
Hello.
To my left, as always, rocking that new exclusive Printfinity joint. You will see that come out soon.
It's
man.
out.
Oh, it's already out.
It's
you've
out.
seen it on the
I'm trying to
internet.
set it up. I thought it was just the internet. It's out.
It's out.
Do you have a name for that, sir?
But salutations, first of all.
I didn't say your name, brother.
Oh, well, you start asking me questions.
I mean, I was trying to pub the... I'll back up. To my left, as always, is the one and only DJ J Div.
Salutations.
Okay, now proceed about the logo,
Okay, yeah,
sir.
it's out. It's live.
It's live?
Yeah.
Okay. We got a flame going on that joint right there? Is that what
Yeah,
that
that's
is?
the torch from the
torch.
Indiana State flag.
I see. We see. I do like that. I can't wait till I get my exclusive package on that one.
Word.
To my right, as always, shaking his head. He's the one and only and incomparable DJ Spools. How are you, sir?
Hello, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir.
I'm doing well as well.
See, you were laughing a little early today.
Yeah, I was shaking my head about your shirt again because
Oh.
it just reminded me of...
The whole Otis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've been saying that for a while, so I'm glad you finally chose to speak up about
No,
it.
actually, you added some extra to it. That's why.
Oh, every time I build
added
on it?
No,
No,
you
okay.
don't at all. That's not... What? No. Like an episode ago or 2 episodes ago,
I remember the Otis joint.
you were like, and I've got one on right now.
Yeah,
And then
that's
that was it.
That's an addition.
That's what I was laughing about.
Okay.
Because you did it again.
Yeah, that's when I start saying, ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
Yeah,
Let me-
and
let me-
then all that made me chuckle.
Well, let me ask you this. Does that make you uncomfortable that I say, and I have one on now? Spools?
No, it doesn't. Uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Not at all, no.
Okay.
I think he's good with it.
Okay. I want to make sure everybody's okay. You good?
I've worn your shirt before.
I mean, are you
You
were
have?
like, and
I
he's
appreciate
got
you.
one on before. So no, I just chuckled because the last time you said that,
Yes.
the Otis thing came out. I've always found that part in that movie to be very funny.
Okay.
I chuckled.
Maybe I was
So
getting
that was the full breakdown for you.
maybe I was getting emotional because you really weren't laughing at me. You were laughing at the Otis part.
Carl Thomas
Correct.
emotional or just kind of,
Drake emotional.
yeah.
Nah, definitely. It would, if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Carl Thomas emotional because he made some good R&B back then.
Okay, fair enough.
We're going to rock with Carl Thomas.
Fair
We
enough.
see you, though, Drake. Episode 32 of the New Old Heads podcast. I think we agreed that the most famous 32, we're going to rock with Irvin Magic Johnson. Is that a consensus?
You gotta check with Spools first.
Okay,
on that
Spools.
because
Yes,
We thought, 3 out of 4, majority vote,
correct.
that the most famous 32, number 32, is associated with the great Irvin Magic Johnson, who I say is the greatest point guard of all time. Thoughts?
Yes.
Are you in?
Agreed. We're 4 for 4.
Who
he
do
agrees on that one.
who do we miss? Is there an alternate? If
Yeah,
you had an
Shaq.
alternate. Shaq.
Shaq had 2 numbers. Though,
Kevin
so.
McHale, I would say.
Yeah, Kevin. You
He
might
would
be able to
say
put
Kevin-
Kevin McHale on that list.
He would say Kevin
But
McHale.
I think the clear pick here is
Shaq
Magic
Diesel.
Johnson. Is Magic Johnson.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to Irvin Magic.
Side
I don't
note.
know if Shaq's number really 32. Is that his?
It was in
official?
Orlando.
Early Shaq.
Early
Yeah.
Shaq. So
Early
not,
Shaq was 32.
Not Lakers Shaq.
Before championships.
Yeah, he retired number 34 with
We're
the
all
Lakers.
roughly the same age, but it took me until I was probably in like my 20s
Uh-huh.
till I realized how funny in an immature way the name Magic Johnson is.
And it's kind of a
Never
double
thought about that.
entendre.
Is it not?
Wow.
Never thought about that.
I
Me
really
neither.
didn't. Like even you think at 8 you'd Magic Johnson, but then like no, I wasn't like that. But then like later on in life, I was like,
Hey.
wow.
Side note to longevity, I need
That's kinda messed up.
you to
Isn't it?
chop I need you to chop that Spools laugh up and send that to me. We're gonna use that as a ringtone.
What laugh was it?
The one you just did for the Magic Johnson. That part.
Oh.
The 8-year-old kid saying,
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
need that for my phone. Can you give me that?
No,
My
he's too
PayPal?
He's too busy for
I
that
gotta
stuff,
pay for
man.
it.
I'll give you my PayPal.
Thank you, sir. Well, perhaps we can go ahead and jump into this list.
perhaps.
Via USA Today.
Who did it?
Who did it? I mean, I feel like I'm repeating myself in terms of the content. It seems like it's a tragedy every other show. A pleasant London, and this is per the USA Today. It says a pleasant London evening along and near the river Thames was shattered Saturday by related attacks that killed 7 people and injured dozens. The Islamic State, also known as ISIS, claimed responsibility. A van plowed into pedestrians on London Bridge. The vehicle continued to nearby, I believe it's called Borough Market, on the river's south side, where 3 male attackers went on a stabbing spree. The assailants died in a hail of police bullets. So here we go again with people and pedestrians being run over by vehicles. We remember we all watched that video of the Times Square video where the guy pulled out of the ongoing traffic, did a complete U-turn, and proceeded to run people over in Times Square on the sidewalk. He had to be doing 60 or 70 miles per hour, and we just saw people getting run over and also just trying to avoid that. So here we are in London, the same situation, but these guys took it a step further, got out and started to stab people. I hate to, reiterate the point that we always talk about how sad these issues are and how unfortunate they are, and our condolences to those families of the people that lost loved ones. But I'm at a loss for words. I toss it over to Spools. I don't know. I just don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, me neither. I think, we talked about last week with the thing in Manchester. I just don't know what, makes me majorly try to think about what's it going to take to stop stuff like this, and I just don't know if that's, possible.
Scary time.
Sometimes, not to be negative or whatever, but
right.
It's going to take a long time. It's ridiculous. Sad. It's unfortunate. I don't know, man.
I think sometimes you get a feeling of some slight progress, and then there's something like this that makes it regress. But sometimes I even ask myself, is there progress? Because these things seem too frequent. Am I wrong when I say that? We continuously see things of this magnitude over and over.
I don't think we're not going to see that though.
Right.
No, it's not going to
Yeah,
happen.
the human condition.
I don't think we're necessarily digressing.
Right.
So you're
thinking this is just what it is.
That always are going to kind of probably happen, at least for a very long time, at least all of our lifetimes, probably, or life.
Okay.
Hopefully, maybe after hours it would get better. Or
I don't think it's ever going to get better,
but
honestly.
This stuff isn't new either. Things like this, I was watching some the on Netflix. They've got the CNN special about the 60s and then the 70s.
Right.
It's 8 or 10-part series, and terroristic acts were very common then.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just think there's a lot more sensitivity to it now because there's a lot more visibility to it.
Mm-hmm.
Great point.
Especially graphic visibility and real time graphic visibility that wasn't present before. But no, man, I don't. Religion and things like that runs pretty deep, and yeah.
Well, you looked like you were going to jump in there, Lone. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. I don't necessarily think we're digressing.
Mm-hmm. It's just
degressing. What is that? Digressing, degressing. Yeah.
Oh no, we have
Degrassi. I don't know. Drake.
Shout out to Drake. We see you in the wheelchair.
The opposite of progressing, whatever you call it. Yeah.
Congressing. I don't know. Yeah. No, I don't. You can go back forever.
Right.
The only difference now is technology has changed and just kind of where we are. And I think it's exactly what Brad said. It's about the visibility. We see it. We see it. We know exactly what's going on every place in the world if we want to know. We're plugged in, so we see it. So we can either, I just hate to say it kind of is what it is, but it really kind of has always been like this.
Right.
So,
Diff, you got 2 cents on that one. I know you said, I believe I heard you say you don't think there's a change in the immediate future or
there's not.
Forecasting longer.
I don't see a change as far as that's concerned. It happens far too often.
Right.
We don't even get reports on all the things that happen.
Right.
There's people that live in third world countries that are pretty much bombed and shot out every single day.
Right.
It's just we live in a place to where we don't have to necessarily witness that so much. So when we do witness it or see it, it's oh, wow, things are bad. Things are getting bad. They've always been bad.
Right.
It's that way. I've actually had a really good conversation with a friend of mine over the weekend when I was doing that the ride along with my buddy. Side note, anyone, if you want, I'm pretty sure anyone can, like, go on a police ride along.
Right. Good experience.
Which I did with it's a guy I've known since I was 16, a very, very close friend of mine.
Nice.
And it was in Hamilton County. So, but you fill out some paperwork and you go do it, man. But I side note, I just suggest that everybody does that. What were we talking about before that? Because that's where
he just went off on a whole other area.
Can you imagine if that was me?
Hey,
that did
right.
that?
Now we're calling him out. That's what we're doing right now.
I appreciate the consistency, sir.
See, I'm just taking it.
Huh?
I'm just taking it instead of denying it didn't happen. That's the difference between me and you.
What do we call that?
That's the
longevity?
difference.
It's funny though.
It's called accountability.
Thank you.
Circle. It's a circle of accountability.
Side note,
It is.
what did I was off on that.
So,
before I went off on
I'm gonna
that
tell you
tangent.
what was funny about it. What you just did.
Okay.
Because I was actually talking about something, and I kind of, I do my little pause.
Yeah.
And then like it's almost like you had something to say to go with that.
Yeah.
But you had a whole nother conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, it
about
was
some other.
it tied in somehow, some way. But what were you talking about?
We were talking about. See, now you messing me up.
Oh man. So
No, I know what it is.
We'll take these two guys
No,
out.
I'm-
Longevity.
I know what we're talking about. I'm just trying to give him a bone.
I apologize. Carry on,
See,
brother.
Calm down.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about how nothing is changing as far as the like killings and the crazy people that do stuff like get in the car and run over a bunch of people, go to concerts and kill people, stabbing people, how it happens all over the world. And when Americans see it, it's like it's brand new.
Shock value.
Okay, so
Shock value.
where I was going with that was, like the whole ride along thing ties in. But when you look at like murder rates and things like that in the United States right now,
Uh-huh.
they're not at the highest they've ever been in the history of the United States. They're not, but it does certainly seem that way because of that. Now, I'm not saying like it's okay. Like I'm definitely not saying that at all, but things like that get exacerbated tremendously because I think sometimes of the media.
It's definitely media, and it's public figures, and it's
Well said.
whoever decides that they want to change the story.
Mm-hmm.
So if you keep saying it a lot, like how people say, whether you like Barack Obama's politics or not, you have a group of people that say, oh, he's the worst president ever. And they just keep saying it,
Right.
keep saying it, keep saying it, keep saying it. Eventually, somebody will probably put that in like a history book or something.
Sure.
And then you have the other side of the coin to say he wasn't. He's one of the best. You know what I'm saying? So people can change the dynamic of a story based off just plugging it into your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Just like if somebody tells you a story, like I can tell him something, and when it gets around the room, the story's changed a little bit.
Telephone
Right.
game.
Telephone game.
yeah.
Agreed.
It's just one of those things.
Go ahead, Lon. I'm
no,
sorry.
you can go ahead.
No, you got it. You got it.
I was going to say, and maybe it's because of who I am, where I live, and all those things, but these stories don't surprise me. They don't necessarily cause, I don't want to say that I don't feel bad necessarily, but I see them and it's just like, that's happened again. And I think that's a product of everything that you just said and the fact that we are over here and stuff happens all the time. And I feel a lot of times I'm just removed from those feelings. Like,
You've been desensitized.
Desensitized. That's the word I'm looking for.
There it is. Yeah.
I'm pretty desensitized in general, except for when I'm really, really focused on something or I'm really paying attention to an issue or something like that. And I notice that I go through phases depending on what I'm going on in my life where I intentionally try
Right.
to disconnect from all of that.
Because
otherwise, I'll dwell on it the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Spools made a very, very good point when he spoke to the visibility of things. Diff hit on that as well in terms of us being able to actually see a lot of things that we normally don't get a chance to see. In this era, in the microwave era, everybody has a cell phone. It used to be the person that had the video camera, you got lucky. right? Or the dashboard cam or whatever. Now it's like everybody has a cell phone and can document everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that plays a part in us being desensitized as well, because everything is so quick and we can see it very, very fast, and it's vivid and it's clear and it's right there.
You watch it, you process it, you move on.
And you move on.
And you know it. You know, it's the phrase "ignorance is bliss" too. You know, if you don't pay attention to it and you're ignorant in that moment, you know, you do live a little bit happier sometimes.
Yeah, there's more people that want to broadcast things happening than to actually counteract what's happening. So there can be something going on that you can be a piece of to kind of, you know, diffuse that situation.
Right.
But you would rather broadcast it to other people for views and likes and to go viral. You know, we're in a different society now almost, you know, with technology.
13th grade, that's what I call it.
The 13th grade. Yeah.
It's less about...
Make a good T-shirt.
It would.
That would, actually.
It's less about...
A DJ Spools Infinity original.
Word.
I see what he did there. I like that, Spools. I will rock that, by the way, you know, if he comes up with it. But,
do I get my publishing?
We are living in 13th grade.
But no, man, I think those are all valid points from everyone. It's just one of those things where it's kind of like when we talk about, I don't want to bring up the president, or Trump, I should say, but too late, I did. But it's the same thing with him. It's like it rotates. Yeah. It's like something crazy happens, he does something stupid. Something crazy happens, he does something stupid. And it's a continuous cycle. We are on 32 episodes, and it's hard for me to think of an episode where something stupid he didn't do anything stupid or something tragic happened. Yeah. So I guess these are a reflection of the times, but I will go ahead and move on.
Kofeve.
What is that though?
You know, here's my thing.
How did Trump, just out of curiosity, like I'm not even defending him in any way, how did Trump just come out of us talking about what happened in London?
I don't know, maybe repetition, maybe habit, perhaps.
Side note, you just brought up another thing. What is that?
Because
I've seen it all.
That was real.
So it was simply.
I've seen it all over the place, I don't know what it is.
I honestly think it's rather dumb to get mad at Trump about this, because all it was a typo. It was a typo on Twitter. That's all it was. So people took that and spun whatever it was into all this stuff, and I'm sitting here thinking of all the things that he's done.
Yeah,
this is what you're focusing on.
When the broadcast, it goes back to that. Let's talk about that rather than talking about the important stuff.
Now that I know what it is, I just think it's kind of stupid now. Like,
it's very stupid.
It's absolutely stupid.
People can.
It's just like I understand.
Everybody.
You want to get, but there's
waiting for somebody to be. Obama never misspelled a word in his life.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Bill Clinton never misspelled anything. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah,
man.
and then we go on a tangent about grammar.
But that's exactly what this argument is.
Not the,
yeah.
That's exactly what the argument is. It's just like
super brightest bulb or whatever, but like, you know.
He's pretty bright in an orange type of way.
Boy, you better talk that talk over there. I see how you snuck that one in. That's
I have another puzzle for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The red water drips.
This guy, man. On that note, I'll go to the next topic. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Kathy Griffin has been out here.
The red water, it drips.
You caught that. Thank you. There's a direct correlation there. You ain't catch it?
Nah.
Okay. Exposed? Red. She's got red.
What?
See, that wasn't
I understand.
The red water drips because it was a bloody head. The blood drips. Blood is red water.
Yes, double
never
meaning.
mind. I've been watching a lot of David Firth, and if you've ever seen David Firth, he's a little twisted. So that's where that comes from. So apologies.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I know.
But Kathy Griffin, though, she's been out here in these streets. There is a pretty interesting photograph that popped up during a photo shoot for her. Shout out to the clock. She had a severed head of the president bleeding that she was holding out for the photo.
The red water was dripping.
And she then had a press conference saying and crying. Great act, by the way. I don't know if that was genuine. From what I see, it was not genuine. She had a press conference saying that her career is over now and she's going to be blackballed and Trump is going to do everything in his power to pretty much shut her entire career down. I thought that was funny for two reasons. One, it was bad acting. Number two, I did not see any...
and she's an actress.
Comedian.
A B-list comedian.
We see you.
I'm sure she's acted before.
I didn't
Probably.
see... I didn't see this level of vitriol to go towards anyone that...
It was odd to watch.
That had news. Like, I saw the news for President Obama and his wife. Like, I didn't see all of this stuff happen for 8 years, but now it's like I see this pop up and it's like, we're gonna blackball her. It's a wrap for her. It's over.
She's saying that, not
Yeah.
right. Okay.
But I don't. But here's my question, though. I was gonna throw this to you, Spools. Do you think there's any validity to her saying that, and is that a possibility?
That sounds to me like, okay, here's my thought on that. That sounds like her trying to draw attention to herself and do something extreme.
Like she has an album coming out or something.
Or maybe my career isn't doing so hot.
Okay. That's
Okay.
fair. That's fair.
And enough people know who Kathy Griffin is.
Oh,
right?
yeah, she's very well known.
To be able to do that, and it's not like if one of us did it, they'd be like, oh, another on the internet is like,
right.
cut Trump's head off or whatever.
Right.
It's not the coolest thing to do, period. I just don't think it's that cool of a thing to do, to cut off the head of a president on TV. But at the end of the day, or anyone for that matter, that's like some sort of, unless there's some rapist or actual rapist or murderer.
Right.
But I think it's all just shock value stuff, and could be a chance to try to get Kathy Griffin back in the limelight for a little bit, or like something. So when she says herself, oh, I'm going to get blackballed now, to me that's like step 2 in the plan.
Okay.
Like, first I'm going to do this outrageous thing, then I'm going to complain about possibly being blackballed. Although, if in reality I knew that was a possibility, I decided to do it anyway.
Just accept
And
it.
my job is comedian/actress, and I need to be in the limelight to make money.
Okay.
Or it's step 2 and everybody still start paying attention to me again, so I'm not blackballed.
She was fired from CNN.
Man,
Might throw that
for
in there,
that?
too.
She had a
She
job
was.
with CNN.
I had no idea.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
neither.
But
Really?
They
Yeah.
say
Last I heard about Kathy Griffin, Danny Brown was making songs about her.
here's
I remember that. He actually had like an interview or something with her too.
inside
When if Tammy Lauren can get fired from wherever she was at,
Tommy.
so we got, or whatever, on both sides. So we got to look at both sides. If she can get fired from Fox or whatever,
right.
for basically
The Blaze.
just saying her own opinion about, like women's rights as it comes to abortion,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
not like super fervently, but like just being like, yeah, that's one thing. I just think it's a woman's body, and they can then.
Right.
Then Kathy Griffin can get blackballed from being an actress.
Oh well, at the end of the day,
It's the
if you're
same.
gonna do it,
They're very similar to
Yeah.
me.
if you're gonna do something, own it. You know what I'm saying?
That's all it
Especially
is.
if you're in a
Yes.
position like that, you actually owning what you did is going to get you better pub.
Now
Okay.
they're gonna blackball
Like if
me.
I came out and I was
okay.
like, yeah, I did it.
Right.
Maybe it wasn't of good taste,
Yep.
but I do feel a certain type of way about them, and this is why I feel like that.
Okay.
Move on.
yeah,
You know what I'm
she-
saying?
But
Simple as that.
if she was truly like, I did this, she knew she was gonna do it.
Right.
I did this, and then like, oh, and then is quietly like salty or maybe a little sad about possibly being blackballed. Well, you're a grown up.
Yeah.
You are
And,
an adult.
and if you are an entertainer and that's important to you, and you don't want, and being blackballed hinders your ability to make money and support yourself,
Should have thought about it.
Yeah, she knew
you're a
again.
grown up,
It's,
man.
it's one of those things that
Come on.
goes viral. She knew it was going to go viral. She knew the impact that it was going to have.
Nobody's gonna care about this in 2 weeks, I bet.
Tomorrow.
Yep.
Before this show even airs.
Probably
There
so.
was more news. Bill Maher.
oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I
That
haven't seen
idiot.
it yet.
I saw
want
it.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah, he can miss me with everything.
Yeah.
Well, what was he? And I'm not just so I can understand and try and get an idea of what happened. What was he? How did it come up? How did he say it? Like, how did it?
I mean, you just got to watch it, man.
Yeah.
It's real stupid how it came because the interviewer wasn't even going there, but he took it there.
And it was based off how the person that was doing the interview phrased, like the way they phrased it. And don't
It's
quote
like
me.
do field work
Yeah,
or
work
something.
with come out and
Yeah.
work with us in the field.
Yeah.
You know, is that how they phrased it? And then Maher said that afterwards. Then he's like, it's a joke.
Yeah.
And I cringed as soon as I heard it because I was like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, he's going to get backlash for that. There's no way around that.
Which I think he should.
Right.
But something like that, even if he comes out and owns it, that's just
it's
bad
too late.
for you.
It's a bad
It
look.
doesn't even matter if you own it because you really did that was dumb. That was just dumb.
A guy of that stature.
I need to check it out and see.
Yeah.
A guy of that stature, a guy of his experience, I thought that was a huge mistake for somebody to be that experienced.
So for the devil's advocate, not that there really is one.
Okay.
But Killer Mike had some tweets about it.
What did he say?
He essentially said, I don't want to misquote him. He essentially said that he thought it was funny.
Killer Mike thought it was funny.
That he's a comedian.
Okay.
That's what comedians do. Now, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he didn't come out and necessarily say,
good job.
Yeah, he didn't say
like
good
that.
job, and he didn't not. He said, that's what comedians do. He said, I know Bill, da-da-da-da-da.
It doesn't matter.
I'm with Diff on this one.
He could have said that in a different way, and it still have came off. What would have came off more acceptable?
Yeah,
pretty much. And like with the whole Kathy Griffin president thing, people have been making fun of presidents as long as I've been alive.
Facts.
I remember the Phil Collins video where he had all the puppets that were like presidents and stuff. Y'all remember that video?
I cannot remember the record though.
I don't remember the record,
but I know
do
what you're
remember that
about.
video.
Yeah.
As long as I can remember. Nah, I definitely wasn't.
We see you spool.
But
it's a jam.
The way that they showed President Obama was on a whole nother level. They had people with dummies with nooses around their necks in their yards.
Exactly.
They had posters with nooses around them.
Exactly.
All kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And they're defending President Trump because of Barron, saying, well, Barron has to see this.
Yep.
They were not thinking about
Sasha
and Malia at all.
To me, that's what you the point that you just made is what I was going towards in my initial statement when we switched to this topic. It's the double standard.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. It's the double
that's
standard.
one of those things that's going to exist regardless too, just like everything else.
That's fair.
It's not going to get better no matter how much we try. That's just how I feel. I mean, relationships can get better.
Yep.
But as a whole, I don't think it's going to get better.
Go say it, Spools.
When those things were happening with Obama, did Obama himself ever come out and say, come on guys, my daughters are going to see this?
No, he didn't say nothing.
Really?
Perhaps his staff may have I guess spoke out for him. I'm not I can't really remember. There were so many of them. I can't remember isolated incidents, but maybe the staff came out and said something. But
That's
I don't remember him like personally going against or going at someone that had done that.
The big difference there's two differences to me. That there were no on the Obama side of it was the race component was like 90% of what people were doing, right? So but on the other side of it, there weren't any celebrities coming out and doing or B-list or anybody like that coming out and doing something like what Kathy Griffin did.
That's fair.
To Trump.
There are
that you know of.
There are differences
that you know of.
But
it would have been in the news if someone would have done it, just like when Kathy Griffin did it. I am not defending anybody. I do not care for Donald Trump. I never would have voted for him. I would take John McCain, George W. Bush, Mitt Romney, any of those cats above him right now. I'm not defending him. I'm just trying to say there's got to be accountability on both sides, and we have to think it through on both sides. I'm not saying you guys aren't.
No, that's
just where my mind is.
No, that's fair.
Stuff,
I mean, I respect your opinion. Like that's thought out. It's not like you're just throwing something out and just being done with it. So what you just said,
the Republicans that come out and say, "Oh, we were quiet for 8 years. We've had this discussion before."
Yeah. Right.
That I won't stand for because no, they weren't.
Right.
Yeah.
Because all that stuff, the super racist things that were happening as far as Obama were concerned, you're not a real American because you were all that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like for somehow a lot of Republicans have this convenient amnesia about all that. So when people are saying bad things about Trump, it's wham boo-hoo, we weren't saying anything. It's
Yeah.
just
Well-
it's just an all-out lie. So
Well, it was. I'm gonna give you this example. The current president was a celebrity before he was a president. He had a lot to say about President Barack Obama.
he led one of those he's not from the United States
Exactly.
charges.
So-
I
Like,
mean, really,
Celebrities
let it
did have something to say,
but he's a
but it's the context of it, and you have to realize something that Obama knew what he was getting into when he became president. He knew he was going to get backlash simply just because he looked different than the 41 presidents that, I mean, the 43 presidents that preceded him.
It was a given. It was a given.
It was a given, but I can't really G for saying that it's on the same level because celebrities weren't really going at him. When they were, it just they didn't go to that extent, you know, holding up a severed head or whatnot.
Because
Lone, jump in.
well,
real
I was
quick.
going to say, kind of what Terry was saying. What I would say is that if a white celebrity would do the same thing to Barack Obama, there's automatically going to be racial implications there.
You
Right.
can't avoid it though. You
So
can't
it's
avoid
automatically going to be there. So we didn't see that because, you know.
exactly.
it. Yeah, I think
I
it's a good
also
point,
wasn't.
Spools.
I didn't want to misinterpret. I'm not saying those things are in any way.
No,
I wasn't putting them
No,
on
no, no.
scales.
Not
or
disagreeing with you
leveling.
at all. I just
Right.
was adding to
Just
it.
saying, like it's whack on both sides, dude.
Yeah.
With like the whole political thing. That's and the media helps zero.
Oh yeah, they're fueling it.
Yeah.
The media helps zero.
So
I agree with that.
I mean, the media help on some hip hop, you know, history. Media fueled the East Coast West Coast beef pretty much.
yeah.
Definitely could say that. Yeah.
You had something else, Lone?
yeah, I was going to retouch. I found the article about Killer Mike.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
it
curious
said,
about that.
even though he caught backlash when he seemed to shrug off Bill Maher, he responded with, "Well, if he said the N-word in my presence, I would punch him in his stomach.
Wow.
I would say, you sound stupid, and then we would have smoked a joint afterwards. Because that's what you do when your white friend is 15 and he gets a little too comfortable and says it."
Yes.
Interesting.
So he said, "I'm a strong believer in the First Amendment. So whether I agree with you or not, I believe in your right to say it."
That's an interesting take.
So
That
So
doesn't.
he can catch the hands.
He can catch
Right.
the
That's
hands.
that is how I've, to be honest with
Yeah,
you,
that's
man. That's
interesting
the I have heard white people say, well, it's okay that
Check mark.
black people say the N-word. Why can't I say it? And literally at this point in my life, what I always say is, you can say whatever you want.
Just be
Say it.
prepared
Be prepared for
Go
the
ahead.
response.
to catch these hands.
That's it.
Yep.
If you end up getting punched and then you want to blame that person for punching you, well, then you obviously don't understand the context and history of that
Yeah.
word, and that's your fault. And if you did, maybe you wouldn't say it in the first place. But
Yeah.
go ahead if you feel. Oh, I'm sorry. Damn, I got really far, you guys.
What, Mark?
I got
what time are we at?
almost halfway
What
through
is-
the
where
episode.
we
Yeah,
at,
it
Lone?
was
What's
pretty
the
good.
ticker say there?
Mm-hmm.
That was actually a world
We
record.
got to be about 35, 40 in.
Yeah,
30
because I actually did it first.
Did you?
Yeah.
Terry did.
Yeah.
So, but
But-
yeah, it's just not. It's got to be.
And Mike even on later on he addressed it. He said, "I'm not going to start to limit entertainers and what they can say, because when you start doing that, you're putting yourself in a corner, and you're going to make sure your First Amendment rights are out the door, and we really are going to start living in a fascist country." So that goes right along with
That's
what
an
you're saying.
extremely logical
So-
thought, in my opinion. So again, white people who feel like you're censored by not saying that word, you're not. You can say exactly whatever you want.
But the world is watching.
The world's watching, and certain folks, not even just black people, that do not care for that word because of the because of what it means, outside of within the black community itself, who do not say that word in the same way. Anyhow, typically, like, you have to suffer the consequences of
That's the
that.
best. I think that's the
Like,
best. I think that's the best point you made, Spools, in terms of, okay, so and to piggyback off what Div said about the hands, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna fight you on the choice of saying that, but be aware of the consequences that come with that,
Mhm.
because everybody reacts to things differently. Div is gonna react to being presented with that word in a certain situation versus how I would. So we don't know how that goes, but person or said person that says that has to be prepared for those consequences, because you might get them paws.
There's actually an episode of Dear White People about exactly what we're talking about.
Really? Let's check that out.
It really is. You guys should check it out.
I personally, as a white person, and Sean, you can say how you feel about this too. I personally choose not to say that word in any way, shape, or form, because I completely understand the historical context of that word.
I mean,
that's why. Not because I'm afraid to get beat up by somebody, but I also don't call gay people the F word. I also don't call. I don't use slurs of that because it's not the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a considerate way to treat people.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah,
not for any other reason.
I mean, that's great. That's
all.
Right to the point logic. I think that's perfect. Like,
I don't care.
It makes sense
I don't
to
care
me.
if Latinos or Hispanic folks call themselves some derogatory, a term considered derogatory about like to one another. I don't care.
Right.
White people, if you want to call your white friend a honky or something like that, go ahead.
But they don't.
No,
because it's not offensive.
Right, it's not
we see
offensive.
you over there alone.
Exactly.
And that's the silver
lining.
lining.
If you truly, and I think, and the last thing I'll say about it is my understanding, the things I've read, a lot of the people I've talked to, if you understand within the black community how it is used differently than how it historically has been used.
Yep.
The fact that, in some cases using it removes in a way the power that word used to have over black people. You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying.
I've heard that. I've heard that being said
I've heard
before.
that too.
As just a potential partial reason. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? That's not my it's not my business, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's
I just don't understand why people want to argue back and forth about it. Why can't it just be leave it alone? If some people might, let you do that, but around certain people you can't. I'm one of them people you can't. I just don't respect it because it's almost like what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like you're baiting me. You're like trying to test my in a way. That's how I take it.
Even if you aren't, that's how you take it.
That's how I take it.
That's how you take it. It's perspective. It's when we talk about this, we talk about a person's perspective, because I know, prime example, I have friends that would be ready to fight immediately if it was just in general conversation in that context. Like, I know people that will jump off the deep end. I also know people on the other side that will take a deep breath, if you will, kind of understand the context of how it was said, and then leave it alone. Then there's that person that will address it and try to educate the person that said it a certain way, use it wrong or whatever, however they perceived it in that certain context, and then they'll move on. So it's dicey because you're dealing with people's emotions, and everybody doesn't react to certain things.
And there's people that just laugh at it.
There are people that just laugh at it.
So
we've been in that setting before. Like, we grew up together, so we've seen instances of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's a fine line. I will say that. It is a very fine line.
I will say, as a white person in this country, just to kind of end this, I have never once felt censored by not using that word, because I don't need to use that. I don't think it's a good word to use.
I tell you what, Spools.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Like,
I respect that.
And
I really
people
do.
who feel that way, or anyone who uses who files any of that under the umbrella of politically correct, really doesn't, I don't think, understand what that is all about.
Don't understand.
That's just my opinion,
and don't want to understand. Just want to have their own opinion about it.
That second part is very important.
Or can't understand.
That third part is important as well. Very, very good.
So.
Good topic, gentlemen. That's a very good topic. Let me make sure I got it right.
What you got there?
Spools brought to my attention Pusha T. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I checked before.
And we should probably keep this one a little brief.
Okay, we'll keep this one brief.
We're still on news. We are like, wow.
Okay, I'll keep this one brief.
Still got 20 minutes.
Ambrosia for Heads. This is the first paragraph of the article. This week, a veteran Virginia MC showed an especially human side of himself. 6-year-old Jeffrey Lil J. Laney made a series of social media videos decrying the violence he sees every day in the St. Louis, Missouri area and his surroundings. Lil J begged those viewing the videos to stop hurting and shooting one another. He admitted his own fears and concerns for his family and himself. Those videos reached more than 200,000 people and caught the attention of Pusha T. Long story short, Pusha T wrote a very, very heartfelt letter to that young man responding to those videos, talking about his upbringing in Virginia and some of the things that inspired him at that age, young man 6 years old. And he also said he was going to start a college fund for him.
Not only that, not only the college fund, I know he brought it to your attention, but he also stated that he's going to make sure that he's not in that environment this summer. So he said him, what was it, like his friend or cousin,
Something
a couple
like that,
kids,
yeah.
Right.
up for like summer camp.
Yep.
And something else as well.
I think it said Disneyland. Did it say? I thought I saw something about Disneyland. Maybe it was an article prior to it. It was on the same page. But he hooked him up with
Yeah, that's
like
solid.
getting him out of the hood for the entire
That's
summer.
solid.
Yeah, you
Because
gotta respect that.
a kid shouldn't have to,
No.
especially at 6 years old,
Right.
shouldn't have to be pouring his heart out like that.
I commend a young man for being 6 years old and doing that.
Right.
Like that to me in itself is amazing.
Right.
You
He's
know.
definitely
It was
wiser beyond his years right now.
Just
Agreed.
some of the things. Okay, so this is Pusha T writing back. Your video really woke me up. You're a thoughtful and smart kid, and already at such a young age, I can tell. You spoke so clearly, but about something so terrible in gun violence and fear, which is something no child should be speaking about with so much knowledge. Since you like helping people, I want to help you. What I'm going to do for you is make sure that you have the fun that every 6-year-old should have this summer. I'm sending you, your cousins, it's a Six Flags amusement park in St. Louis.
That's
I
what it
know you
was.
guys are going to have the best time when you arrive back. All of you will start summer camp at Boys and Girls Club. All summer long, you'll be learning, playing, and meeting new friends. Lil J, I want you to do a favor for me and enjoy being 6 years old. Smile more than frown, explore without fear, learn uncontrollably, dream without limit. I mean, that's just something you don't see.
Yeah.
Those are the stories, man, and something that we need to hear more about that. We need to see more things like that, man. I was very impressed with that, man. That really made me feel good when I read that today.
Yeah.
Or the other day.
Yeah, shout out to Pusha T, man. I think, we see you. Shout out to Pusha T. That is, I just don't know what to say. It's kind of it kind of goes with the Nicki Minaj that we talked about when she said if she could confirm the people that were on Twitter, she would pay for the college education. Like those are the stories that don't get pushed to the forefront. We always end up talking about rappers' vans getting shot up, or music and gender and race and all this, but there are some good things that are actually happening in hip hop, and especially with some hip hop veterans. So
yeah, man.
shout out to Pusha T,
shout
man.
and salute to
That's big.
Pusha T, big time, man. And I'm not even like we were talking about this before. I'm not like a huge Pusha T fan by any stretch, but that was very, very, very awesome. I thought.
Hey,
Yeah, stand up move.
yeah, game recognized game. So shout out to Pusha T. Speaking of game, man, it's really, really tough on me, but I'm hanging in there because I'm loyal. My Cavs are getting blown off the floor, and Kevin Durant is out playing my man LBJ. Steph Curry is out playing my man Kyrie, and I'm grown enough to say it. If we lose this next game 3, the series
Wednesday
is
night.
over.
You know, one thing I was
Series
really
is over.
thinking about too, aside from this, they stretch these finals out tremendously, man.
They do.
That's because they
want to
have the games on certain days.
Yeah, they don't play on Saturday. Is that right? Somebody
Nah.
told me
Ratings.
that. Like always Sunday,
Yeah, there's two days in between. They've stretched out the rest. Travel.
Monday, Thursday, Sunday, and that's
Yeah.
it, or something like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I mean, we talked about it last week. I just think, we'll see what happens. I think you made the point, Terry, that kind of started this way last year, and Cleveland was our champion. So
Yeah, they actually the Warriors actually beat them
worse in the first two
last
games.
year
Yeah.
in the first 2 games
yeah,
than they have this current year. but they also didn't have Kevin Durant.
Yeah, this is
That's
different.
It's
This is
just
a
too
different
much,
beast.
man.
It's
Like
a
we
different
said-
type of monster they're dealing with.
Like we said last week, it's just too much, man.
Do the Cavs have enough to win? I believe they do. Will the enough
The series
play,
or a game?
the series? Do they have will the enough play to the level needed? That remains to be seen.
I might eat these words, dude. I don't think they have enough.
That's fair. I mean, it doesn't appear that way.
You know, their bench, when they look at even just like who's coming off the bench and how
Yeah.
those bench players match up. Like,
Yeah.
like I was telling you before, I was kind of giving you, like messing with you about, who's Cleveland, who's Cleveland going to get this week, or you know, or whatever. And when you hear Darren Williams, that's like, oh wow, he was a premier point guard for a
10
long time.
years ago, he
Kyle
was
Korver, one
great.
of the best. Like, I think Kyle Korver's in the top 8 or 10 all time
In three-point
pointers
shooting.
made.
Yeah. He's
like,
a marksman.
Yeah.
Looks
And some
pretty
of these
normal
other
now.
guys, you know what I mean? And now it's like, if I'm
You
not
got to
mistaken,
run with a young team, though. Warriors are young.
Iguodala
besides
comes
like
off the
a
bench,
David
right?
West.
And Iguodala, those are the older heads. Livingston.
He comes off the bench, as does Livingston.
Yeah, those.
They are eating Darren Williams and Kyle Korver's lunch, dude. Like when they come off the bench and have
The thing about
matchup.
Golden State that is scary is, one, their ability to push a lead very, very fast. Like if you make 2 or 3 mistakes, you're down 10. But they also have the luxury to be able to sit KD and Curry and still have Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and
They got
Iguodala.
like 4 snipers.
Exactly. Like, they never run out of ammo.
Nah.
So Kevin Durant, who's playing great, by the way, he doesn't have the responsibility a LeBron has because, number one, he doesn't have to score like that. Like if he wasn't scoring 35, they'll find 25 from Klay. They'll find 30 from Curry. They'll find 20 or 15 from Draymond. Iggy will give you 17. Livingston, and we good. So it's a tall order, but I do have the Cavs winning game 3 and 4. I have them winning game 3 and 4, going back to Golden State 2-2, and then we'll see what happens
Bold.
there. I'm not gonna back out from my guy.
I can dig it.
I got to pull for him. So,
I mean, they were
It's-
supposed to win the first 2 games, regardless of what the scores were.
you hold home
Yeah.
serve.
And nobody's hurt right now.
Yeah.
So
Just got to
They
play
do.
better, man.
It's just
Except for
it
their
is too
egos.
much, man. It's
Yeah.
too much for Cleveland, man. Did you see LeBron's comment about? I think it was just like the biggest. It was just funny. Something that, Golden State's got multiple players that you could build an entire franchise around.
Yeah, I
It's
saw
like,
that.
Oh, okay.
I
LeBron,
wouldn't. I don't know if I
know.
would have said it that way, but
Yeah.
he's not lying.
Yeah.
I mean-
Also, he made the comment this week that it's just basketball,
Yeah.
and I thought that was really funny.
LeBron knows better. This series puts him in that Mike stratosphere if he pulls this off.
So who do they get next season if Cleveland if they get swept here or if I lose 5-1, what do they do
This is what I've been hearing, which will make my
aside
day.
from get rid of J.R. Smith? Obviously, what do they do?
I've been hearing, and this will make my day because my 2 favorite players
Paul
will play on the
George.
same team. It will be Paul George, but
they'd have to trade.
they'd have
Kevin
to get rid of
Love.
Kevin Love. What that does give them is somebody that can get buckets and who can also defend on the perimeter.
And that's actually very dangerous.
So
if Paul George ends up on the same team
with LeBron and
with
Kyrie.
LeBron, that's
And Kyrie.
dangerous. That's very
Because
dangerous.
now you have 2 athletic wings. Paul George can play. 2 things I do know about Paul George. He can score and he can defend. Those are the 2 things I do know. He gets buckets.
I think they need a 2.
2 guards. J.R. Smith's not cutting it. So
He should not. He should be coming off the bench. I heard you said Shumpert's going to
they're going to start Shumpert in
That's
game
a
3.
fantastic idea.
Yeah, JR. This is like the Hennessy bottle, JR. Like when he's in New York kicking it and partying. Like this is what I'm seeing now. Like I know he had a premature daughter though that finally came home from the hospital.
Well, that's good.
So maybe his mind might be somewhere. I don't know. But
Dude,
this
it's
guy's
just-
lost. He's
so,
out of it.
So Curry, Irving, awesome matchup to watch.
Yeah.
Right? LeBron, Kevin Durant, one of the
Epic.
best matchups you can watch.
Thompson, Smith.
Then you go J.R. Smith, Tristan.
Smith and Klay Thompson, are you kidding me?
Then you go Draymond Green and Tristan Thompson. Oh, there's a fall off there.
There is, but that still can if Tristan's really playing, that can be an interesting matchup.
Which he's not.
No, he's not.
They have to all in
and
order
I
for
think
them
it's
to win
I
this
think it's
series.
really Love and Green.
Love and Green. Good
Yeah,
point.
In
which
order
is a
for
really
them
good
to-
matchup.
I'll give you that.
In order for them to win this series, though, the other players have to produce. Like Cleveland, they're not no matter what you say, they're not deep like Golden State is. It just is what it is. And I know people that are now Golden State fans will say that they are. That's simply not the truth. You don't have, like I said, they got 4 snipers.
Yeah.
If Curry's not hitting from behind the arc, then you got Klay Thompson.
You still got KD.
Exactly. KD plays the whole floor.
Yeah. Draymond Green's hitting threes.
Draymond is hitting green.
Plays the whole floor.
Threes.
The whole floor.
Yeah.
I mean, and Draymond and Klay are both really good defenders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Kevin Durant has actually stepped up his defense, and that's a byproduct of the great defenders that are around him.
Mm-hmm.
He worked on it himself, but he also plays with great defenders.
You know who's not a very good defender? You guys can
J.R.
disagree.
Smith.
Aside from him, I don't think Kevin Love is that good of a defender.
Nah,
He's never has been.
not.
I mean,
He never
Curry's
has.
not either, but he's wet though.
He's fast too. He can at
He's
least stay. He
fast.
can at least stay in front of.
Plus, they can
people,
hide
you know?
Curry. They'll just throw him
Yeah.
on J.R. Smith, and he's straight.
Exactly.
So, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna lose faith. I got to ride with my guy, but this
I
will
think
be an
he'll
uphill
get
battle.
1 in Cleveland.
You got
I
one?
think it's going to be 5 instead of 6 now.
That's fair.
Golden State.
We shall see. We shall see. I want to go ahead and I want to throw it to Lone. Do we have anything new music wise on the website? I cannot remember what. I don't want to say episode. I don't want to say issue. I guess track list number we on.
Trackless number though.
track list number would be like in the thousands.
Okay.
But no, we have
No, wait. Say it again.
we would be in the thousands if we were going off just track listing. Because we have normally
I
about
followed what you
50.
said, Mike. It was still funny though.
Yeah.
Track list.
We are on Turn Off Your Radio volume 101.
Whatever, man. Go ahead.
I mean, I was.
Oh, is that what we on now? You're going to switch it over to me?
101.
Go ahead, man.
You asked the question.
You guys should see Sean's socks, by the way, today. They're pretty snazzy.
Yeah.
They're actually no bad idea socks.
Yeah, they're yellow, green,
Nice.
red, and a charcoal gray. Perhaps light
they?
gray. They're light gray.
Yeah,
Put your foot up here, Sean. Show
they're
the,
very-
show the people, man.
Oh, no, don't show the
idea,
people.
Spools.
Yeah, don't show the
At
people.
all.
That was a terrible idea.
Yeah, I did it. And then he went for it. You have to understand. There's 2 parts to this story.
Here's a question, though.
You influenced it, and he went for
Who
it.
gets the check mark?
Let me ask Diff this before we go to loan. Out of that terrible, out of
Terry's
that
still holding
terrible,
on like it's an earthquake.
Yeah,
like there's
'cause
going to be an
it-
aftershock. Like,
Diff,
It
I
about
want,
smacked me in the face.
Diff, I want you to follow
I
me on
didn't
this
know
one
that.
because this is rare for me. This is usually on me. I want you to follow me on this one.
Yeah.
Now, out of the 2,
Mm-hmm.
are we gonna go with that dumb, terrible decision of Spools to have him lift his leg
Yeah,
up,
because he shouldn't have even brought that up.
or are we gonna go
I see the
with
socks
this?
and I like them.
Are we gonna go with this fool actually lifting his leg up?
No,
Which
not
one
the
is
socks
worse?
part, but to show the people
Yeah. I
and
thought that
the
was a good
table in
idea.
the situation.
So
And
are
then
we
he
gonna go with that?
decides he's
Well-
drinking very good whiskey right now, so he's feeling good. So he's like, I think
I
I,
just
can
gotta lift my
show
leg
Hey,
up.
Spools,
the
pass me
people
that
my
hat.
size.
Like that's the equivalent of just what just happened. Just so
Yeah.
you know.
So Diff,
Like,
who we gonna roll with, man? We gonna go with Spools or we gonna go with Lone?
I'll take it.
Both-
I'll take it. I'll
both
take
are
it.
ridiculous.
I'll take it. I'll
think
take
it's
it.
gonna be
I'll
like-
take 15%.
Yeah, I was gonna give him a nice, maybe a quarter portion of it.
25%.
He gets 75.
That was a
split it with you.
terrible
I'll take-
choice
I'll
to
take
lift his
20.
leg up. That was awful.
Sorry, I threw the hat. That was the equivalent of what just
But
happened.
go ahead with
Go ahead, man.
Shouts to the No Bad Ideas Queen.
Yeah, that Spools just threw across the room, knowing that we got sponsorship by them.
I made-
Terrible
I made-
decisions, man.
I made my point.
Good Lord. Go ahead, man.
No. Yeah, so we're on 101. But before we get into those tracks, well, I guess we can go ahead and talk about them. We have a Brady Watt song on here, Yellow Wolf. Chris Rivers dropped a new one. I don't know if you know
Shout
about
out
that.
Chris
I did not know.
Spools did cuts for a record with Chris
I
Rivers.
did indeed.
We're going to stunt real quick. Spools did do
Let's
cuts.
see. We have Tone, Trump, CeeLo, King Crooked, AG the Pharaoh. Shouts to Naptown. Also Draco McCoy.
Nice.
Brockhampton, which they're a collective that has slowly been popping up on my radar out of, I believe, South Central LA.
Okay.
We also have a Swarvy joint on here. What else we got? Mad Child and some others. Jaron Benton and Nick Grant, they redid that Cream track.
Oh, that was perfect.
So I'm gonna put that on the radio mix
Please
either
do.
this week or next week.
Please.
Speaking of swervy, I literally heard someone on a motorcycle the other day at an intersection playing that swerving song from like Webby.
Shout out to Webby.
And I swerve.
Swerve.
You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It made me laugh.
Webby is the best interview in America. I've yet to see anybody that's a better interview than Webby.
His name is Boosie because he is right up there with him.
Shout out to Boosie, Boopak, we see you.
Excuse me. We also, as far as projects are concerned.
Pardon me, gentlemen.
I
was drinking. It was a belch. So that's what.
Continue.
Gensu Dean and Wise Intelligent dropped a Game of Death, which is a project produced by Gensu Dean. Pat Jr. dropped a 6-track EP called Black and Mild.
Shout out to the homie Pat Jr.
Yes.
Chicago's Sidewalk Chalk dropped an album called An Orchid is Born, and they announced a pretty massive tour. They're actually going to be in Muncie, I believe, on August 11th.
Okay.
As far as projects are concerned, though, I think that's pretty much the extent of what I kind of checked out. I don't know. Have you guys listened to anything project-wise?
Shout out to my man Clinic.
Shout out to the Clinic. That's my
was
guy.
Over there Saturday working on some things.
Talented producer there. It's my man.
He put me on to a joint called Cocaine Beach.
Okay.
Which is Husk Kingpin and Big Ghost new album, not Ghostface, but Big Ghost Ltd or Limited, the producer.
Who is comedy on Twitter, by the way.
And is he really?
Yes, he is. He's hilarious.
Listen to this. It's on Two Dope Boys right now, but it's really good. Right up the alley, I guess, again, of what you guys know I like or whatever, kind of street sharp lyrics with some dope production. So
yes, sir.
Okay.
Can't go
not
wrong
trap,
with that.
but no diss on trap, but just it's not trap production and it's some genuine street type stuff. So.
Music.
Shout out to North Memphis.
As far as local, I know Terry's got something, but Sirius Black dropped a new video for Wolf on a Train.
Nice.
Which is off of his Nightcrawler album with Bones of Ghosts. Sam Mirporian directed the video. Also, Draco McCoy dropped a video I mentioned it earlier, but he dropped a couple videos in the last few weeks. One was Relapse, which was also directed by Sam, and then a new one called Eat Your Heart Out. So both are bangers.
Nice.
So.
Did you have anything? I think you talked about a couple things that was local.
Yeah, so Gray, In Search for a Weapon or Wisdom, dropped.
GG.
This past Thursday.
Shouts to Greg Random, man.
Decent album, man. I'm actually rocking with them for the beat battle. I'm be DJing for them.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Nice.
so we got some for y'all on Friday.
Yeah, shout out to Jay Brookins. We could plug him real quick. That beat battle will be Friday. That's the finals. So we will have a new champion for season 2.
Yep.
DJ
J Diff will be on the 1s and 2s. Is that correct, sir?
Right. Well, for Gray Set, I'll be
Gray
there
Set,
for Gray
okay.
Set.
Yeah.
I'm back in Gray. Actually, the Yo Gotti Made It.
Okay.
I've been listening to that. It's pretty cool. What is that? Voyager Moonchild by Moonchild.
Yep.
It's kind of like it's more vibey type music. I called it my grass cutting soundtrack the other day.
Nice.
Gotcha.
It was real nice and earthy and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I can dig it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got that, and also I remember we talked about prior to going on. There was a couple things going on. Lone, correct me if I'm wrong. You said every third Thursday.
Yes.
Is when you guys get together and build with the session with shout out to, I cannot remember who you do that with. Diop.
Yeah, we do it with
Sorry.
so it's the KI and it's Diop, Stacia, and myself.
That's what it is. It's called Build, right?
And it's called The Build, and we do it at the Kefra Institute. I think it's like 35th and Boulevard.
Okay.
So every third Thursday. So that's going to be going down next week.
Okay.
And then
so homie J.O. has a release party.
My man,
right?
100 grand. J.O. Grown Man Business album release party, 1515 Brookside.
Okay.
Yeah, man, performances by Proforms, obviously J.O., Nappy Newt, SB, Zion, It's going to be a really fun time. $5 at the door, $10 gets you a hard copy of the disc, the CD
Nice.
as well. So,
Nice. Shout out to homie J.O.
Yes, sir.
Well, I believe that is going to do it for episode number 32, the Magic Johnson episode. Longevity,
Showtime.
DJ J Diff, DJ Spools. I am Major 7th. Shout out to bringingdowntheband.com, Printfinity, No Bad Ideas, and Coleman Dental. We are the new old heads. Episode 32 is in the books. And do not forget, subscribe.
Subscribe.
We got
Please.
Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/newoldheads.